Okay, here we go. I've had my shot of coffee and it's ready to start recording, and hopefully I can keep this up. Always very draining talking to a screen, even though I know you guys are listening, but I am in fact just talking to myself. All right, let's get to it. You know what I do. So let's just get down to it. This is Eurodollar. Let's see what's happened this week, and see if we can make some calls for next week. The longer term count that I'm working with is a large triangle, well, possibly a large triangle. There's also a chance that it could be a large flat or maybe even zigzag. It depends on how you read it. And you can see that with the rising trend channel here. I don't think we get there, to be quite honest, because I don't see it in the action. I think we look pretty much overextended right now. So I'm going to stick with this three-wave C wave idea. So it's this large triangle in a B wave is where we're going to sit for the moment. We've got an A wave, B wave down. What we're on right now is a C wave up, and that should be followed by a D and an E. So really what I'm saying is we're going to be grinding sideways in a contracting range for another while. The rest of the summer at least anyway. And we're going to have another dip and retracement again. So I think we're topping out near wave C, and we'll get into the 4-hour chart and see how that's going. You'll see here I'm charting a wave A up, triangle, most likely a triangle wave B, so that's a wave A up, A, B, C, D, E, triangle wave B, and then 1, 2, 3, maybe a triangle again, wave 4, and then wave 5 that's topping out right now. We've topped out above this. This was more or less my upper target, that 115 level, let's say, previous B wave high. It's not that we can't go any higher, because if you look at the daily chart, we can. The only thing that invalidates a triangle is if we break this 125.60 high. I don't think we get anywhere near that, to be honest. We have an interim kind of B wave here, so that's 118.25. So we're in that zone where we should top out, and we're probably going to roll over pretty soon down into wave D. And it should be 3 waves down again in wave D, and then 3 waves up in wave E, and that'll complete a very large triangle. And then we head down into a longer term C wave. Okay, so let's get into the hourly chart, and we'll see what's happened this week. Looking for the possibility that maybe we're in either wave 4 of 5 of C, so that'd be wave 4 here, of wave 5 of wave C. There's also a chance that we could have wave 4 complete here, but I don't like the size of wave 2 in comparison to that wave 4. So that looks like more of an internal fourth wave within wave 3. So I think we should be topping out in wave 3, and we should move down in wave 4. Either that, or we're going to create one final high and just complete this fifth wave altogether without creating a larger correction in wave 4. Anyway, we've got support at let's call it 115 again, 114.94. And if we break down below that impulsively, I think, regardless of this count, then I think it'll probably be time to turn our attentions lower in wave D. And we can see here on the 4-hour chart this wave D there. Okay, so next week, I think we'll top out in wave C. I know I've been looking for a top out for the last couple of weeks now. But we've got to, on the 4-hour chart, we've got to throw over above the trend channel line. So, I think we're all but done. Like I said, maybe we get one final high above 116 and then we drop again. Early next week, I'd like to see at least a turn down in fourth wave, if not beginning of this wave 1 down. Okay. Now, pound dollar, I'm going with the triangle for the moment. it seems to be the best fit for now. We have a possibility of a C wave complete, or we're getting close to a C wave completing. We have an upper limit here at 135 for this C wave to complete. Well, it's not an upper limit, but it's let's say upper resistance. We could also mark one in there. We've got a cluster of resistance starting at 131, and we're a ways below that at the moment. The initial level that I don't want to see broken is that 128 level at wave C, where we are marked wave C already. So let's get into the 4-hour chart here. You can see what I'm talking about. So we are pushing up above, up towards that wave C high. So we could have wave D and E done, or else we are going to extend wave C. Like I said, that's that previous, that's the initial resistance, let's say above us is 131.97. If we do get a break above 128.11, that marks the wave C high right now, then that 131 level, or 132, let's call it, should offer resistance and top wave C out. The pattern is getting more difficult as the days go on. I would like to see a decline. It looks like we've got the makings of a triangle already in place, and when you attach the, or sorry, let's say when you join the tops of the previous highs, we are coming in close. Actually, I'll just get a trend line in there right now. So you can see right now, when you join the tops of those previous two interim highs, we're right about those levels right now. So I would like to see a turn down. It's not absolutely imperative, but either we move down into wave D, which would be most likely the alternate count, or we have already completed wave C, D, and E. So that's kind of two sides of the same coin. It's still a triangle, but one might be allowing, this daily count here might be allowing for a more elongated kind of pattern. For the moment, I would like to see an initial turn down below 128.11, either in wave D or a new impulse move down in wave 5. Okay. Dollar yen. So we broke down the other day, and we are most definitely in the territory of the larger triangle right now. And you can see here on the 4-hour chart, we're still trying to trace out that completing wave E, and then we move higher again into a larger degree wave C. So that'll be wave C in black, and the minimum target for that would be up around 125, believe it or not. Okay. So we have an A, possible triangle, B wave, and then moving down into wave C. It looks pretty impulsive right now, so wave C should, wave C should trace out 5 waves down. Well, we'll see how it goes. Let's go into the hourly chart here. You can see this wave, this triangle, A, B, C, D, E, that completes wave B. And then we could be heading down into wave 1, 2, 3, or it's wave 1, 2, and wave 3 is extending lower, which it looks like it this morning. We have broken the minimum target, so that's 106.07. That's the previous wave, let's say the lower extent of that triangle. And the lower extent of wave E, or sorry, wave A, comes in at 105.98. So we have reached a, let's say, a minimum acceptable target for wave C. Looks like we're probably going to head lower into the kind of 104.50 area anyway. But for the moment, tentatively, looks like we could be heading higher next week. Once we have this C wave complete, which should complete soon enough, we will rebound off these support levels, and we should head higher into a larger wave C. So that'll take time to develop, but the dollar is beginning to find a pretty significant low right now. Okay. Here is the stock market. the Dow has not created a new high above the June highs. The S&P did, but we seem to be turning lower again towards the end of this week. So it's a Friday and the market's heading lower. I'm always pretty, let's say, interested in what happens on Friday evening, and because we do tend to get reversals happening on Fridays. So when a reversal does come on a Friday evening, it's something that usually kind of pricks my ears up anyway. Makes me look again. So we have the possibility of a beginning of a wave 3 of C to the downside. So that would say that next week will be solidly down, but we'll have to see how that goes. The 4-hour chart, you can see here again, there's nothing, it's not really going to illuminate anything else any further than what I've just said there. This should be a wave 1 and 2, and we should head down in a third wave down within wave C. Okay, so the hourly chart, you can see that, well, this morning it's pretty agnostic this morning of what's happening. I would have liked to seen a little bit more downside to complete a wave 1 down, but I could pick out 5 waves here, and maybe we'll get some sort of corrective recovery into a second wave high before the end of the session today. The early trade has been pretty flat. We seem to be stopping at a previous fourth wave low within this C wave. So the C wave at the moment I'm counting as an ending diagonal, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into a double top, and we seem to be moving down impulsively off that. There is another way of viewing that where you could view this as a larger flat, so that could be 3 down, 3 up, and 5 down. So that would still make us a 3 waves fourth wave, and we would look for a further third wave, or sorry, further 3 wave move up in wave 5. For the moment, looking at the possibility that we have wave 1 of 3 underway. And if this is the case, then we should move pretty sharply lower next week. Obviously, we want to see this week's high hold, and we want to see the market begin more impulsive action towards the downside again. Okay, let's move on. And we'll try gold for a change. So gold is on the cusp of making a new all-time high. We're above 1900 today. We were looking for an acceleration higher. Last week I was talking about this kind of puzzling that I was doing over gold during the week, expecting more of an acceleration to complete this large degree third wave. There's a possibility that we even extend higher above that 2000 level, but softly, we'll see how it goes throughout the week. I do think that we are closer to a significant top than that doesn't mean that we don't have higher to go, but we are closer to that topping point in wave 3, and then we will correct lower in wave 4. But let's see the 4-hour chart. You can see that the trend channel would suggest that we do have a further high to make. At the moment, I'm kind of looking at 1950, or could be closer to 1960 or 1970 now at this point in time, to get a tag at that upper trend channel line, and that's if we complete an Elliott channel. If we move out to a more traditional kind of price extent channel, then we could see more of a kind of a blow off top, which might bring us, even above 2000, maybe up to about 2050. We'll just have to see how that goes. At this point in time, there's nothing to say that the top is actually in. I'm just following this trend channel at the moment within wave 5. I know we're close to a top in wave 5 of 3, and it will probably be soon time to start loosening positions, or if you have a longer term position, which I have in gold, a long term position. back in 2018. But if you do, it'll probably be time sooner rather than later to start, let's say, cashing out those positions. But for the moment, it seems like there's still a little bit more upside, and we'll see how it goes over the next week. The hourly chart, possibly a fourth wave, and we're moving higher in a fifth wave today. Again, I don't like the size, the relationship between wave 2 and wave 4 that we might have here. That could be a very small triangle, but that still could be a triangle within wave 3. So we'll just have to wait and see how this, or not how this action goes, but how any corrective action off these highs might trace out a larger fourth wave. So if that happens next week, early next week, so be it. We get some sort of a consolidation, and then we move higher in a fifth wave. So it's just kind of, again, softly. I know we're approaching a pretty significant high in a fifth of a third wave. That does not mean, again, that we are at that high right now, but we're closer than not. So let's see if we get a fourth and a fifth wave to complete this longer term pattern here in wave 3. Okay. The alter account here actually in wave 3 in blue here shows this rally and, let's say, decline in rally into the February March highs and decline in March as a 1-2 wave. So this could also be a wave 1-2 and a 1-2. And if that's the case, we still probably will see a pretty significant decline back to around 1600 before rallying again. So either a consolidation or, a consolidation at some degree or other is coming in gold. Let's move on to crude oil. I am tracing a top or tracking a top in a fourth wave with the idea being that we are going to move down into a fifth wave pretty soon. 4-hour chart, possible ABC up. This is getting extended and extended. It seems to be just kind of riding on the optimism that's in the stock market at the moment. It's not riding higher on that optimism, but it's pretty much halted within a band over the last, let's say, almost 2 months now. We've just moved sideways for about 7 weeks, and I still think that we're grinding to a halt in a possible fourth wave, and then we're going to move lower again pretty significantly in crude. The hourly chart has, again, a tentative move off the high. So far, we've got 3 waves down, but this could extend into a third wave over the next day or two. I would next week still be looking for a decline to begin, an impulsive decline to begin in wave 1 down. Okay, we'll move on. Hold your hats there now. We'll be there in a second. I said earlier that the S&P did make a new high above the June high, but then we've kind of sold pretty impulsive over the last couple of days back below that June high again. You can see here possible. It's a stretch, but it is a possible ending diagonal in wave C. That's what I'm working with right now, and within wave 5 of wave C, it's an ending diagonal. That's the pattern I'm working with. So maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4. Wave 5 into Wednesday's high, was it? Or Thursday's high, or the early overnight trade on Thursday morning. And we're moving pretty reasonably impulsively lower off that high. I know that the market wants to sell. It just has that look about it. All we've done pretty much for the last 2 months is drift sideways. Very, very minimum new high above the June 8th high. So, and we're back below that again this afternoon. So, I know that we are the technicals within the market, and I know that the possible pattern operating within the market is pointing to a reversal or a key reversal coming our way, if not already happened. It just needs some significant or a reasonable price pattern to point us in that direction. And that's what I'm looking for next week, just like the Dow. Looking for 5 waves down. We're looking for takeout of a few of those previous swing highs and swing lows. So we have a wave 1 high there at 31.68. We have a wave 4 low here at 31.28. I know that if we got below 3100, that would be a pretty strong sign that the top has occurred. And if we have a second wave low here and a fourth wave low here, if we break 3000 again, and 5 waves down, and we trace out 5 waves down, I think the deal will be sealed. So that's what we will be looking for, or that's what I'll be looking for. Okay, so let's kind of let's move on to silver. Silver accelerated this week in pretty significant fashion. It could be read as a third of a third wave up. That's kind of where I'm pointing at the moment, and it definitely has that kind of that look to it. If that's a third of a third, well, then you would expect that sort of acceleration to the upside. There is an off chance that this is a completed 5-wave pattern. Excuse me. This is a completed 5-wave pattern up into this week's highs. So you could talk about one. We could see tongue-tied, and I even drank a ton of coffee before I started this. We could read this as wave 1, 2 acceleration, and wave 3 because we did get a nice step higher within that possible third wave high. A correction in wave 4, whether that was a triangle or just a simple, maybe a running flat or maybe a failed C wave there, or just a simple 3-wave correction into wave 4, and then an extension higher within a third of a 5th wave. So you could be talking about either that's wave 3 of 3 or it's wave 3 of 5 of the first wave up. So again, as with gold, I think we're lurching towards a pretty significant high, and we will probably see some sort of sell-off, 3-wave sell-off in a second wave back towards that $19. We've got a swing high here at 1896, and we've got I think it's a previous high here back in wave C. That's way back there. That's 1962, and we've got this shoulder high of 1836 and a corrective low at 1688. So we've got a cluster of support there that should hold that second wave, but it is pointing us back towards that, let's say, ballpark 1850, somewhere in the middle there, 1850 for a second wave. So we're going to top out soon enough, and then we'll head lower in a second wave. But we might have another successive, let's say, 4th and 5th wave. We have actually on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I'm closing out this third wave up. So there's a third wave there, and it looks like we're moving within wave 5 of 5 of 3. So we may have a triangle completing wave 4. We could have a larger flat pattern completing wave 4. I was looking last night at a possible going back to 2135 at this A wave low here, but you can see possible barrier triangle. Let's say A, B, C, maybe a D into today's high so far, and an E will. If this is the case, if it's a triangle, then we're just going to contract for another up until the end of today, and possibly even early on Monday, before we break out again in wave 5 of 3. Just have to see how this fourth wave scenario unfolds. I'm just not totally bought over or bought in on that triangle just yet. So for next week, I do want to see a third wave close out, and we'll see how that. We'll see if we get any kind of impulsive or at least a reversal into a fourth wave happening over the next few days. Okay, I may as well kind of mosey on and see how the international markets have done this week. Got the France 40 again. Last week I was looking at the corrective lower high that was forming in the CAC 40, and this week we're selling off pretty significantly. It looks like an impulsive move down. We should see 5 waves down and an impulsive lower high begin this week, or sorry, next week, complete next week, and then that'll give us a bearish reversal pattern into a possible third wave down. So watch out, France. Okay, we have the Hong Kong market again. You could view this, it's the same thing up. We've got 3 waves up. The pattern before this is a little bit more convoluted. This could be a B wave or a large degree B wave rather than a wave 2, but we'll see on that one as I add. I'm going to add in the Hong Kong market into the nightly service. I think I'm going to add in a few of them, but I'm going to reduce, as I was saying last week, my verbose typing. I'm going to reduce that down. I'll try and get shorter and sharper on my analysis and just include more charts. I think people have kind of been pretty receptive to that idea over the last week. If anybody has an objection, email me. Maybe people like reading, troves of thoughts every night. Okay, it could be a leading diagonal or a wedge pattern to the downside, or it could be a series of 1-2s. Today we've got 3 waves down again, so we could be seeing a 3-3-5 flat before we move lower again. I'll just have to get into that next week when I start filling out these charts a bit more. But I do believe that we are again heading lower in Hong Kong, or the Hang Seng, I think. All right, let's move on. This is the Aussie 200. We've made a double top actually this week. I'm not quite sure if we did pip to the top or if we stayed below. So that could still be a 1-2 pattern. Even actually if we met, price for price on the high there, that can still be viewed as a 1-2 because you can retrace in a second wave. You can retrace 100% of the first wave down and still be viewed as wave 2 because it didn't break the high of the previous, it didn't break the previous high. So far we've got 3 waves down. Let's see if we accelerate lower this week, in the week coming. We should do. We've got these internal swing lows here, so we've got about 58.98. So break of that 59 level, 5900 again would point us in the downside direction. Okay, we have the Japanese market again looking lower. Let's see if we can pull that out and see if we can see any internal pattern there that will point us in the correct direction. Yeah, it looks like we have a 1-2, 1-2, and then we're heading lower in a third wave. We would have to break this internal B wave here, so that's 21, let's say 940. If we get below that level, most especially if we get below 21,300, then it looks like we're accelerating lower again into a next trend move. Germany, the DAX, we broke just like the S&P, we broke to a new high, but we seem to be breaking down off that high again. The action looks reasonably impulsive so far, and again, just watch these internal swing lows, and most especially the mid-June low at 11,555. And the FTSE was the most interesting to me last week. Let's see if we can get into the hourly chart here. We have an internal B wave low here at 59.90. So let's see if we're at 61.39 now. So we have a way to go before we can, let's say, point more conclusively to an impulsive decline. But if we do break 59.90, I don't like the way that this is coming down off that high just yet. But like I said, it could develop in a more impulsive way. If we do break that B wave low 59.90, and again the 59.27 level back at the June lows, then we are turning into a third wave down. I've gone through the international markets. I've gone through the US markets and precious metals, crude oil, and the dollar FX. I hope this was interesting and useful to you. Thanks again to all these subscribers. Thanks for hanging around with me, even though it was a short week. I was away for a few days, which was great. So I want to wish you all a blessed weekend. May God bless your humble works, and I'll meet you all again on the website on Monday evening. Let's see if we can chart our way back down again, as we've been charting our way up over the last few months. God bless you all. Any questions, email me, and hopefully get back to you as soon as I can. All right, be good. Bye-bye.